Hey guys, it's churches, graveyards and graves, and today I have brought you to Alvecote Priory. Now, as you can see behind me, there's not a lot of Alvecote Priory left. It's actually a ruin. It's an ancient heritage monument now, but I am going to show you around because it's got an interesting story behind it, and this is the biggest part of what is basically left of Alvecote Priory. So I'm going to show it you and tell you a little bit of an interesting story about the origins of this wonderful ancient monument. So without further ado, here we go. So this is the main section of Alvecote Priory, and you can see this wonderful arch, and really this is the only substantial bit left. So we're going to walk through the arch now so you can see the other side, but you can certainly see it's kind of old. So if any of you have been following any of my videos, a lot of the entranceways of some of the oldest churches are like this. Now, this is a priory, and not a particularly big one, and it was founded in around 1159, so it's 12th century. I'm going to turn it around now so you can see. This is actually inside the priory now, inside this section, the main section. It wasn't very large, and like I said, it was a Benedictine priory founded in around 1159. And it was actually founded by a guy called William Burdett. And he ended up becoming a Benedictine monk because he was out on the crusades fighting. And when he came back, he accused his wife of being unfaithful. So here you can see these wonderful walls here. And here's the corner. So we're going to go over to that. So William Burdett went on the crusades, and he came back, and he said that his wife was unfaithful. Well, rather than just like finding out the truth or whatever, he ended up stabbing her to death. So William Burdett stabbed his wife to death, and he ended up setting up this Benedictine priory as a kind of penance. And so he then obviously didn't remarry, so like remorseful was he for having stabbed his wife to death, that he set up this priory. But it wasn't particularly well, didn't have a lot of wealth, let's say that, and so it was quite small, and it was part of a much bigger Benedictine priory at Great Malvern. So that's where we find it. And in around 1545, it finally was dissolved, and after the Great Malvern Priory was dissolved. So really, it's then just obviously over time gone into complete disrepair. So that's where we find it really, and all that really remains is this arch really in the corner post. So this was a smaller branch of priory from the Great Malvern Priory. So most of these Benedictine priories or abbeys or anything like that were mostly dissolved in the Tudor times after Henry VIII. So we're just going to bring it around. I just want to show you this rock structure as well, because you find this in a lot of the old churches, and you can see it quite well on this. So when you look at the old churches, you sometimes find that they've got much more erratic stone structures, and they would fill them in with these other things like slates and bits of other rock, and they weren't like a standard shape, because obviously they weren't like laser cutting rocks, they were like hand cutting the rocks, and so all this is made of sandstone as well. So I'm just going to show you, and obviously there has been a bit of vandalism over the years, but obviously this bit of carving was from 1916. So, but you know, considering it's been around since the 12th century, it's still sort of surviving. You've got some other bits of you know, damage where people have carved on the side slightly. What I really like about this side as well is you've got this fantastic oak beam as well, obviously where the door was in this section. It's really amazing there. You've got this massive overbeam, but you can see that this side, the left side, is collapsing a little bit, and you can also see the remnants of where the great door was as well. So around it you can't sadly see pretty much anything else about it, but we'll just go over to the walls so you can see that. So these are slightly inset, and you can sometimes see remnants of where there might have been other bits whether they be tables, shelves, doors, you know, you can see remnants of that. And these would have been the main foundations, so you can pretty much see the whole size of it really. All made of sandstone. As we go round you can see that it's all made of sandstone and in these wonderful traditional blocks. Fantastic story really. And you can also see some of the carvings that people have put on them, some of them quite old to say the least. So you've got 02, I guess that's 2002, but you've also got 97 there, 1997. And that's the thing, sometimes people put their names, their markings on it. So this is Alvecote Priory, and now you can see basically the whole size of it. You've enjoyed seeing that, this wonderful ancient monument, which of course was a religious building, and it was dissolved in the Reformation really, but to be honest it was probably going to pop before then, because it wasn't really well funded, and as soon as the major one at Great Malvern went, sadly this one went too. But you can imagine there was a small group of those Benedictine monks right here in this field around here, and it's a beautiful rural area. You know, it's still surrounded by the fields and the trees, and of course right next to it is Alvecote Marina and the Alvecote canals. So you know, in hundreds of years later, you know, the canals came, and the industrial heritage came, and then there's the M42 in later years, and this is also on the West Coast main line. So every now and then you might hear this like and that's all the trains that are on the West Coast main line right here. And it just shows you how this place, it would have started in that wonderful peace and solitude, and then over time all these other things have come, you know, the canals, and then the trains, and then the M42, and how like you can see the progress of time. Absolutely fascinating to see these wonderful ancient monuments, and to know that the reason this was set up was because of a murder. Well, if you've enjoyed seeing this, you can see the arch behind me, there it is. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share it, and if you want to help me by buying me a coffee, as I'm always standing out in the cold talking about these wonderful historic buildings, that'd be fantastic. But if not, I hope you've enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you again next time. So from Churches, Graveyards and Graves, see you soon.